Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly castle keeper this evening, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing the 2013 adventure Legacy of the Crystal Shard. Originally published for AD&D, for D&D Next. And then our campaign also incorporates a substantial amount of material from Wizards of the Coast, very cool, Icewind Dale Legacy, Rime of the Frost Maiden. And if you are intending on playing, I'm not so concerned about the Legacy of the Crystal Shard. If you are intending on playing Rime of the Frost Maiden at some point, though, this session will contain spoilers, quite likely, for this. So definitely either come back another time, or if you don't care about it, well, then let me introduce you to the stars of the campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who are you playing today? First up, we've got Andrew.
Good morning, I'm Andrew, and I'm playing Kola Hammerstone, and Dwarven Allegor Priest. What is I'm 7th level. That's what I am.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is Darren.
I'm playing Trin Stainpaw, who's a level 6 rogue gnoll.
Very nice. So first thing I need you guys to do is clear out what luck you have on your token. It does not survive past the end of the session, and then we'll roll how much luck you have for the session. Kola, I believe, is 1d6 plus 2, plus 3, and Trin, 1d6 plus 2.
Yep. Let's do that.
Wow.
Lucky session.
Wow. Now, Night Below,
Pretty
we
good.
have it because we're only 2 hours. Do we?
Correct.
Just, here is what we roll is
What you roll is what you get, yep.
Wow, that's amazing. Boom. Maximum luck.
And now I really can take the gloves off.
Yeah, fair.
So, guys, it has been a couple of weeks since our last session, but what happened last time? I
Got out.
Yes.
We got out of the Caves of Hunger. I think all of us are happy about that, because that turned into a misadventure. We're gonna need, if we are to ever explore the Netherese ruins in more detail, or go, try to infiltrate those Drogar holds, we are definitely gonna need more than 3 of us, and probably need very specific planning for that adventure. So no, we'll skip that. We made our way back to Sky Tower Shelter.
I'll give you a visual aid here.
Oh, right. There was a little bump in the road to Sky Tower Shelter. There was like what, 6 Peritons that attacked us.
Something like that. 6, something like that.
Yeah. Managed to. We're becoming Periton hunters at this point, with the amount of times we've had to fight them, but we survived. We did harvest their antlers, because they can get a good price among the Goliaths. Made our way back, met up with our friends there, rested a bit, told them of what we found below, including talk of the Remorazes and the Dryads.
Yeah.
But also this ancient evil that is down there. And
the defeat of those Gnoll vampires as well.
Yeah. The big, of course. And then we were trying to investigate more about this, or I know that Falcor had wanted to investigate more about this spear. But we did tell them about it, and our intent to use it as a parlay method with the giants. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but our, I guess, next kind of steps, we had talked about heading back west.
Let's go to the map. Let me grab your tokens.
I seem to
here.
recall something about, we thought maybe someone in the Dwarven. Oh yeah, what's his name? The other priest in the Dwarven Valley. Shit.
Let me get this out the way.
I forget his name. But the Dumathoin priest, we thought maybe he might be able to help us.
Patrick?
Adric, yeah.
Is that right?
Might be able to help us learn more about this, or because what we're unsure of, like, we know it's a giant's spear, but we don't know. It's obviously got magical properties and it's obviously got a curse on it, but what we don't know is, like, if this is a named object.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is this a specific giant's spear that has some sort of meaning beyond? So. But it's a long shot. We don't know if he knows anything at all, so.
Yeah, let's see. Getting back to the Dwarven Valley is over there, so how far is that? Probably not that. I think this map is not as far as we think.
Was it Kola or Valkyrie that made the harness for the spear? So we
That
could
would have
carry it
been
with the griffins.
I think it was Falcarol who made that.
Okay.
So I believe he's got leather working in this. Let's see.
Because Kola was making some sort of they weren't potions, were they? What was you making? Some sort of recipe, some herbs or something?
Yeah, I think I wrote that down here. So I made 5 doses of Viper's Tongue Poultice, 4 doses of Aaron's Rod Healing Tincture, and I still have 4 other doses of Aaron's Rod, the plant, that I have not yet converted. I just did the 2. So yeah, and so the Viper's Tongue heals 1d4, and then the Aaron's Rod gives 1d4 plus 2 healing, plus gains plus 1 to poison saves for the day. So some emergency, first aid things in my herb pouch.
Now, in the time that you were there, I'm assuming you guys would also have either cast spells or had them cast on you to heal up, so you can top your hit points up as well.
I'll gain the 1.
Yeah. It's going to make all the difference. Trin, you'll need that 6. Oh, yeah, hold on, Trin. I'm not sure if we've updated. Hold on. Because you've got...
increase my constitution, but
yeah,
I can't remember if I changed. I think... Yeah, I think that's why it was down, because I think you added 5 or 6 to it.
Yeah, it should be 36 should be your total.
Oh,
it looks like...
Okay,
yeah,
36.
Oh, and let me get your base up as well. There we go. Okay. Yeah, have not getting rid of that penalty makes a big difference. Yeah. All right, so then, guys, what do you plan on doing today? You've got that thing. We're assuming you've got the thing ready to lash the spear to one of the griffins, to Falcarol's griffin. Let's check. Let's see what the weather's like today. Andrew, would you give us a D20 roll, please? 13. Weather is moderate, so there's a chance of there's going to be snowfall today, winds of 5 to 10, but travel's unimpeded and visibility is obscured for only short periods of time. So that means you are going to be able to travel a substantial distance, and your griffins, let's see here. You were not traveling the last couple of days, so you're not making any exhaustion checks, which is helpful. 96 miles a day in good weather with the Griffin. So that's like half day's travel to get to the Dwarven Valley then.
Wow. Wow, it is not often we get to basically fast travel. I would strongly recommend we do that. Half a day's travel to get there. With the Griffins would probably need to rest at some point during that, but
Yeah, I don't know if would they be burdened? I mean, it depends how much stuff you got.
Yeah, it depends on how much stuff you've got on them. Like, did you put more? We calculated what their encumbrance was. Let's see here.
Yeah, I've got it. It's 15. It says here. So to be burdened is up to 46.
Oh no, 46 is overburdened, so they're burdened at 16.
Oh, so 45, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 16 to 45 would be burdened.
Yeah. So are either of them at? I know you did the math on yours. Is little one burdened?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, just putting a mountaineer's backpack on, that's...
Okay, so then actually that I may have misspoke with how fast this travels. Let's see here.
I really need to flesh out.
Minus 10 to movement.
I mean, a week's rations is 4 EV, so you know, I've sort of stuck 2 weeks rations on, so that's 8 straight away. So,
Okay, so 80 miles. 80.
Yeah, that's still loads. So you was looking to find out this dwarf, or search out this dwarf.
Anything further you need to do in Sky Tower Shelter, Coda?
I don't think so. The only other thing, there had been... did we ever try to heal that Aarakocra that was here?
I don't think you ever... I don't think you guys did, because it required a... it was a wound that needed to be healed.
It needs an actual restoration spell.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have access to at the time.
Or at the very... I think you may have had access to it, you just may have not wanted to make use of the... Oh, no, because this is before... I don't remember if you met the Goliath before or after you left the Dwarven Valley. I think it's after. So
it was definitely after.
Yeah, so then you definitely had the Ring of Baranar at that point, so you may not have had the charges to spare.
The charges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also had, like, we had some charges, but we also had, like, people, i.e. Tom, with almost perpetual con drains, so... as well as other ability drains.
Yeah.
So we needed to spend it on ourselves. I'm actually just wondering, because I got to remember that now it's wow. Because CNC rules for spells are different than AD&D. I have access to spells in this game that I would not have had in AD&D. Like, for instance, Restoration, level 4 cleric.
There you go.
So I can actually take Restoration as one of my spells, which, given our propensity to get level drain thanks to those Grimlight, or is it the Grimlight Walkers?
Cold Light Walkers.
Cold Light Walkers. Might be something that I take as one of my spells.
Yes, and... yeah, not a bad choice at all.
Okay,
I can't remember. Does Cola have the signature? He does have signature spells. Yeah,
he does. Yeah, I can replace any first level with Cure Light, and he prepared second with Delay, and prepared third. So by signature spells, does that mean, like, so I prepare my spells for the day, and that's what I have?
Yeah.
Does the signature spell rule mean that, like, is that like a spur of the moment thing where like I always have access to these spells and I can just decide to swap those out because I need a Cure Light now to save my friend instead?
Precisely.
Okay, that's really cool. I was wondering, like, yeah, okay, but like I can already take Cure Light, so I don't really understand what the benefit is. That's a major benefit.
Yeah. That's cool because
like, I can take like spells that make sense for our travels or whatever, but always know that I still have access to the emergency healing spells if someone were to fall dead or whatever.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
It's cool because the illusionists and wizards can take it as well. Same thing with druids. So like that for Nox always his signature spells are like magic missile. I can't remember what his level 2 one is. but Fireballs is level 3, so he never has to prep that shit, but he's always got them at hand.
That's okay. So I haven't thought ahead to do it right now. So I'll have to add some spells here then. But that's cool. I'll fill my spell book with like other things. Oh my god, it frees up so much space.
It's a pretty awesome ability.
Light wounds and 4 cure moderates taking up everything.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay, restorations.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Trin, is there anything you wish to do before you set out?
No, I mean he's been doing his hunting and gathering enough food for the group, so
You've
he's
been
quite
doing
happy
the
with
like
it.
dad going camping thing of like pack the griffin, unpack it, repack it again. Like surely I can fit more in here.
Yeah. Where'd you get a bigger griffin?
Yeah, exactly. Can we get a station griffin? I don't know. All right. So then it is that morning. If there's nothing else you guys wish to do, you got some food prepped for you. You could set out at 8 o'clock this morning. Well, I'm assuming you're waking up at 7 as usual and setting out by 8. You might be at the Dwarven Valley by shortly after noon. All things being equal. Hold on, I do have to make a quick roll for your day. I've got a little travel log for Night Below, but I do not have one for this. I need to order one, I think. I could do that from our Red Rebel shop. I can actually order one of our little booklet with our, what do you call it? One of our heroes on the front page. Let's see here. So day 1. I need these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Normally I'll roll this ahead of time next time. So we have Mourn, Travel, Camp, and Watch. Let's see here. Okay. And I'm going to get a couple days worth here so we know what's going on. There we go. Alrighty, and then one more thing. Here it is. Here it is. Getting your spells all picked there, Cola.
Working on it. I'm mostly just transferring what we already have in the PDF to the character sheet.
Okay. Is the plan to just fly directly there?
I mean, I should think so. If we don't get this kind of weather often enough in the Dale to waste it. So I would argue, let's try to get as far as we can and direct beeline or Griffin line to the Dwarven Valley. Even if we get to the 10 towns at the very least, because from there we can take like roads at least, rather than just out straight in the wilderness.
Although, I mean, where you're going, you won't need roads.
Fair.
All right. And. I don't know if they just did an aggressive purchasing of it, but I noticed earlier this week that Noble Knight has 3 copies of the Saga Edition. What do you call it? Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I did manage to snag that one. The only one I have that I don't have yet is the. Oh my god. Shit.
Unknown Reaches?
Outer Reaches? Yeah.
Unknown Regions, I think it's called.
Unknown Regions, yeah. It's the only one. And it's going to be expensive. So
my last one was Knights, and that was the most expensive one at the time.
Oh, it was that one was not cheap either. But I mean, I've got the PDFs of all of them, so like I do have it. I just obviously, for the bookshelf.
Yeah.
Oh, you already have restoration in my PDF. Look at you.
I have my moments.
Okay. Well, then that means there's another 4th level that I could just take 2 of the restoration. Lord knows we use it.
Okay. All right, got our random encounters and everything else set out here.
Oh.
Okay, so then that morning, unless there's anything else you guys wish to do, you can bid your farewells to all the Goliaths in Sky Tower Shelter. They may give you some messages to deliver to their family members and friends and whatnot who accompanied the ragged tribesmen to the Dwarven Valley, and otherwise, they'll wish you luck on your way. I think they will also each give you one a potion to cure light wounds each.
Oh, lovely.
Cool.
I think that breaks the axle of your griffin, though, as you put it on it.
I'm gonna have to figure out the EV to everything. I'm assuming my griffin will also have to be encumbered, based on what I'm putting on to.
Yeah,
on
you're
so,
you guys are traveling at the slowest, the rate of the slowest thing anyway. So if we know one of them is
that's
encumbered.
true. It doesn't even matter if Stormwing is encumbered, because if Little One is, we're not moving. Like, I'm not going to go flying up ahead on my own.
I think Kola has strength as a primary.
I do.
Yeah,
yes.
So you would get to add 3. So it's actually because Trin's so strong, you guys have about the same. Because having either strength or con as a primary gives you +3 to your EV, which starts at your strength score. And if you have both, you get to add +6. But your strength's 14, so you got 17 total. Trin's already at 17. His strength is 17.
Yes, it's the same.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're carrying some heavier stuff because of your armor and weaponry.
It does go up quick with the armor and weapons.
Mm-hmm. So your heavily laden griffins, you guys set out for the day. So as the griffins leap from the eyrie and into the sky, you can feel that this is they are cooperative when they're in their in their little den thing, but this is definitely their environment. Like once they get outside and their wings take them into the air. It's, I imagine, always a shock for both of you when you get into the air and the wind and the speed of the griffin just goes whipping, across your face. Your little eye protective goggles are probably something you're quite grateful for.
That's true. We do have those.
And you guys set out. So you guys get to about here, which would be, I think, let's see here. It's only 4 miles out, so that is in 8 hours you're traveling 80 miles. So it's 10 miles per hour. It's like 20 minutes out. So it's 20 minutes into your flight. The sky is relatively clear for today. The winds aren't that bad. So you're able to see pretty far down. And what you can see is that there are a group of travelers who are down below. It looks to be, from the sleds that are being used, it looks as if these are humans or elves or something, like human-sized people from the 10 towns, perhaps. And there is a group of 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like there's a 4 or 5 people who are standing, but you can see that there is about 4 who are bundled onto a series of sleds. So there are some people who are down, who are being dragged on sleds, and there are others who are sort of dragging them, along. They seem to be coming from the west and heading towards the east. Like, you've never seen people, humans or whatnot, out here. They also do not seem to be ragged tribesmen.
Oh.
Do you guys spare a look at one another?
Yeah, I'll take a look at Trin, and like do the whole like I see something and like nod as if to ask him like, we can't really talk, we can't hear each other up here anyway, but just to confirm, like, do you see this too?
Yeah, I'll obviously nod. I don't think we've really got any symbols at this stage, or a signal, should I say, for sort of talking. So
No, I mean, I just realized I put tongues as my other level 4 spell. I could have totally taken sending and really given these people a fright. Because it says, the spell description says, send a message to anyone, anywhere. It doesn't necessarily say you need to know who the person, well, maybe it does. I only read the little synopsis, not the actual thing. Anyway, it's irrelevant. I don't have it. It wouldn't really get us far anyway. Hey, down there.
Does it look like they've seen us yet? Would be my question.
I think at this point you're a little too high up to be able to tell. You could take a lower pass to see if you can pick up any further details about them.
And I guess like we're close enough to tell that they're not ragged tribesmen. They are humans.
They're humans, yeah, and it looks like there are at least roughly half of their number seem to be on sleds being dragged by the others.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would sort of gesture for us to sort of head over somewhere we can land, but in the hills or mountains still, where we can sort of discuss the situation without hopefully drawing attention to ourselves and having to get closer. I don't know if there's such a place just to the north of where we are. Don't know how far that is.
No, you most certainly can. Like, it's wide. This is wide open tundra and hills in here, so you certainly can come land down. The griffins kind of squawk, but you guys are able to get yourself close enough to be able to shout at one another.
Yeah. So I would say it looks like they've seen some action, combat maybe.
You think the people in the sleds are injured? Are the people in the sleds? Well, are they? Are we close enough to tell if they're all like adults? Are there like?
You guys did not closer pass yet.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. And I wouldn't have wanted to get too close just in case.
So yeah, either combat or fatigue or some sort of, because otherwise you would all be walking. Or that's how we would do it. The known tribes. We would all walk. No one would pull for others.
Right.
And it didn't.
The only way we would pull.
I can tell you, like, it didn't seem like, that they're like snow palanquins that are being dragged along. These are like people are lying down on sleds and being dragged.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say the only other, like, it could be that if it's a very long journey, it could be that these people are traveling and taking turns. Like pulling other people so that people have a chance to rest, and that helps them get further along in a given day, and keeps someone like with enough energy available to them to like fight if they are attacked by something. But this doesn't look like that. This looks like these. I think you're right. I think these people look like these are makeshift. They're laying down. How many again were there?
4 or 5 standing, and then about 4 on sleds.
So not a huge group, but still large enough that if they are trained warriors, we'd be quickly overwhelmed.
I mean, we could
have griffins
certainly,
too.
yeah, we could certainly fly and have a closer look without actually getting
True.
involved, or maybe a few shots fired into the air if they had ranged weapons. But hopefully, we'd be quick and agile enough to have a closer look without having to commit. But
Yeah, I'm tempted to kind of do the same. Do a low flyby, see what their reaction is. If they immediately try to raise bows to us and try to shoot us out of the air, then let's just carry on and leave them to whatever they're going to do. But if they don't, maybe we can land and see who they are, where they're going. Maybe they need some help. We can give them, if nothing else, we can give them directions to Sky Tower Shelter.
and you don't think there'd be a threat to Sky Tower Shelter? I mean, we could
four
obviously look-
humans, and then, or 8 humans, 4 of whom are injured potentially.
If
That's
they
the
are.
case, then probably not. Well, sure, but we won't know that till we get there. Oh, that's the other thing. If the 4 in the sleds are not injured, and this is, and they're just sitting there, then this could get trouble for us quickly.
Well, let's see as much as we can from a flyby and reassess.
Yep. It makes sense. I mean, we have some limited ranged capability. Oh, I don't have mounted flying fighting. But my spiritual weapon just kind of counts as it just kind of goes there. I don't need to like...
So
I still need to hit name. Yeah.
I suppose the other consideration that you would be aware of, Cola, is the flying griffins is a very unusual, thing in the Forgotten Realms anyway. Mm-hmm. A knoll in this region may also be seen as a threat rather than someone coming to aid.
There is that as well. Yeah. I hadn't actually considered that, but that's a very good point. They may not.
Not a sea race, man.
The sea species, though.
If we fly overhead and not, give away potentially who the riders are, maybe they're just seeing the bottom of the griffins and wings as much as possible.
Yeah.
I think just need to have a closer look to see if it is injured people or just we got not a lot of information to go on to make a good judgment, have we? And then if we do need to approach, then maybe I can hang back and you can make a decision with that.
I'm kind of thinking that makes sense. Like we can do the flyby because you're right. Like they won't necessarily get a good look at, especially if we can do it so that we come at them like with the sun to our back. They won't necessarily be able to get a good look. Like it'll be difficult for them to discern what is on top of the griffin. They'll be able to tell that they're griffin riders maybe, but we'll be silhouetted.
And coming from your direction, that actually would help. It's still early in the day, and you guys it's easily able to double back and come from the east.
Okay. Because then, like, we can do the flyby, get a very quick, see if we can learn more about what they look like and get a sense of if they're going to attack us right away or not.
Yep.
And if we do want to approach, then, maybe you hang back, which wouldn't be bad anyway, because if they do decide to attack me, then we've got the ace in the hole because you're pretty good at hiding and stuff, and they won't, we'll have some surprise element, and that might help us if things go bad.
Yep, let's do that.
Well, they'll still know that there was a second rider out there, but they won't know where you are. So that'll help us. Okay. Let's do it.
So let's do this. Let's have you... I'm going to get 2 checks from you, Cola. Because, actually, I guess both of you guys. First, let's give, for this fancy maneuvering, why don't you guys give us dexterity checks, please? You've been cruising around on the... Griffins enough that I think we'll let you add your level to this. And you guys, great rolls. Yeah, no problem.
Stormwing and Cola are getting along just fine now.
All right, so you
way.
guys pull off precisely the maneuver. How close is it that you see yourself getting to the party, Cola?
I'm kind of tempted to go as close as like maybe between 30 to 50 feet above them. because like I need, especially with the goggles on and stuff too. Like, well, I can take them
You're
off.
going to be able to get a good enough
look, but-
view from like 200 feet away at least. So like you don't need to be so. There's no snow or anything here, so you're passing 30 feet above them. I mean that's that's buzzing the tree line, as it were.
Fair. I just figured, I don't know, like if I want really good details about how well armed they are, and can
That
I
would
tell if
definitely,
these
flying
are
30 feet
injured?
above would probably be a good way of learning how well armed they are.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but I guess I also don't want to be threatening either. Okay, so that's fine. We'll go like, what do you think, Darren? Like maybe 100 feet above? It's
Yeah, I
close
think
enough to get
that's
detail.
definitely close enough. But yeah, you wouldn't be brushing over their heads.
Okay.
So,
Right, close enough to inspect without necessarily being too aggressive or looking too threatening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fly casual.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Fly casual. Okay. Then what I'd like you to do is, if you could each give us a wisdom check, please. You're not adding your level to this for either of you, so we'll have to back out your level.
How do we? Oh, I just minus it from the roll, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, we can just subtract 7 from
I can
yours.
I can just do math. Oh, look at that. Have
So
it.
7.
So 7.
But Trin's is 16 still. Okay. Bear with me a second here. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. So what you can see is as you get down there and you fly over the kind of nape of the earth, not nape of the earth, but the 100 feet above, what you can see is first off, there are it looks like there are 4 still standing. Trin, you can pick this up quite easily. 4 humans still standing, or humanoid size things. Nothing's dwarf sized or halfling sized or gnome sized. One of them seems particularly burly under all the furs and whatnot that they're wearing, and there is a real tough looking boar with one of them. It kind of turns and it snorts and snuffles up at you guys. There are definitely 4 individuals who are wrapped up in cloaks and whatnot, who are strapped to these to the sleds. As you go in, there are 2, one wearing armor of some kind and one wearing like just travel clothes and robes that seem to gesture, and you see flashes of magic. As if they are preparing themselves for something. There's no offensive magic that hits you. It seems like you guys were successful in getting down and upon them before they were aware. But yeah, it seems at least 2 of their number are spellcasters. There are 2 others, one who has a bow out, and then the others have melee weapons or have been casting spells. And then you both pass by and you're able to gain some altitude. What do you do?
As you said that no offensive magic seems to be being made against us. The person with the bow, does he even? It might be too far to see, but like, does he make any?
So
motion
you
or
actually don't
attempt
see this.
to-
Unfortunately, your roll was not great, so you can
fair.
pick out the numbers,
just
but not the
went.
details. Trin's the one who picks up that 2 of them cast spells. One of them who seems to be wearing armor. One of them who does not. There's a humanoid who's got the bow, and then the last one, the burly one who's next to the big pig. He seems to have like a javelin. I say he only because if it is a woman, it's a really fucking stocky woman.
Okay, so that's not Hobbs entering our campaign again with reprising his Warcraft character.
No.
So I guess we land, you and I.
yeah. So it looks like a defensive sort of stance, I would say, at the moment, which is fair enough. Yeah, it's just whether you feel happy to, speak to them on your own potentially, and me hang back, or just fly high enough that I'm not intimidating and I can just watch from a distance.
Yeah. Or we just fly on and leave them to their, they didn't attack us when we flew by.
But magic users are potential risk.
Yeah, no.
This is true.
To Sky Tower.
Trin, you would know is like this is humans don't come out here, and the Ragged generally don't have wizards among them. So it could very well be that the two spellcasters won't reach clerics, but it's unusual to have another party of either people from the 10 towns or from elsewhere.
Well, and we know already that like the 10 towns don't have many magic users. Like there's like a hedge mage in maybe a couple of the 10 towns. It's not like we established that way back 2 years ago at the beginning of the campaign that like we being magic users coming into Bryn Shander were, exceptional. So my immediate question would be, where did these people come from? Because it ain't the 10 towns, or maybe some of the at least the wizards are not from the 10 towns. Mm-hmm. But then that makes me think, wait a minute, what about Grimm? And we know that Grimm has been searching for stuff here because his order is very interested in the oh my god, the ruins, the Netherese technology and such. What if these are some of his ilk who are here to investigate and continue the work of that circle? And is that that's not necessarily a good thing?
Well, I mean, Cola's got a lot more experience with this place. Trin's kept himself to himself until he joined you.
Yeah, and I'm like, Andrew is forgetting a lot of the details of Brandon's background right now. But
what you remember is that there was so there's a town called or a city called Luskan that is on the almost the northern tip of the Sword Coast. Luskan has two sort of significant power players. There are the different ships, which are like gangs that control different aspects of the city. And there is the Arcane Brotherhood, which is an alliance of powerful wizards who want to extend, they're sort of like the poor man's version of the Red Wizards of Thay. They want to try and be, have power over things. Akar Kessel, the sorcerer who came out and raised the Crystal Tower a century back, he was an outcast member of the Arcane Brotherhood. You also know that there are members of Ship I think it was Ship Rethmar. Was that, remember way back when you faced that the smuggler,
the pirates on the pirates, the smugglers on the lake.
The smugglers in the lake were not that, they were affected by black ice, but it was the ones in Bryn Shander.
Oh shit! Right, that's yeah. The where at?
Yep.
They were working with
Ship Rethnor.
Yeah.
There's also if the ships are working with the Arcane Brotherhood again too, there is talk of the guy who is currently the High Speaker. Remember, there was that election that the Speaker of Bryn Shander went missing, and then there's someone else who stepped in. Is talk about them being part of the Arcane Brotherhood. You faced in the Dwarven Valley. Do you remember the spellcasting woman who caused so much trouble for you?
Oh yeah, what was her?
Well, she's dead. I mean, she did fall 300 feet to her death.
Yeah.
She did have markings of the Arcane Brotherhood.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I definitely don't like. Grim has his own issues with the Arcane Brotherhood, but I have my own. I really have a special spot in my heart of hatred for them because of that woman's meddling. I mean, I'm sure my Akola's uncle and mother had their own choices to be made, and they did their own things in the head agency. But like, it's really Akola does not separate this. Like, it's like this woman is to blame for pushing them in this direction and manipulating them to undertake the shards and go after the.
Well, the massive export of black ice that was happening in the time before you came here. After your uncle took control of the Dwarven Valley, that was largely facilitated by the Arcane Brotherhood.
Right. Yeah. So like, definitely very easy for Kola to pin a lot of guilt and anger and frustration on the Arcane Brotherhood for everything related to the Black Ice, including his own moments of weakness with that.
And it's not to say that these people are necessarily part of the Arcane Brotherhood or they're from Luskan or anything like that, but they are definitely they were effectively trying to force the dwarves into conflict with the 10 towns as well. Remember, because they had declared that the Dwarven Valley was property of the 10 towns and that the dwarves owed rent to them.
Right. Okay.
From our flyby, did we assess better these people on the sledge? Were they sort of strapped in to sleep, or did they look wounded, or was it?
I don't think you saw.
Tell?
Yeah, any one of them. They all seem to be strapped up. Honestly, like for your eyes, it's how you would. I don't think gnolls really transport invalids, but like for small children, if you were to bundle up cubs. Or pups, I guess, in Trin's case, maybe that's what you would do. Like they looked like they were either dragging corpses or, or people who are just very, very badly hurt. Those people on the sled, I guess, from a defensive perspective, they don't look like they could jump up and join in on something anytime quickly. You can also tell you, Trin, at least 2 of the sleds seem to be pretty hastily improvised.
Right.
2 of them seem to be like what they would be using to transport goods over land in this environment, but 2 of them seem to be sort of fashioned together of stuff. So these people are not, it was not planned to be dragging half of the party.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's potentially why they're so defensive as well, if they've already been attacked or something's happened. So,
you guys have certainly been in that situation before.
So, what do you think? Do you think it's worth finding out more about them, the risk, or would you rather not? Trin is intrigued what these people are doing out here.
Where do you think they're headed, I guess, is one.
Definitely intrigued. Oh, I think they're it was...
Is Sky Tower well known?
No.
In the area?
It may be better known now. I mean, the Goliaths are generally spoken of, or previous to their arrival in the Dwarven Valley, they've been seen as sort of more a myth than fact. They're a very rare people to encounter, and they generally have no reason to trade with anyone. They're perfectly happy with keeping to their mountaintops on their own. There's also some really dangerous stuff between where they live and where the 10 towns and whatnot are. At this point, maybe people know that the Goliaths live out here, but certainly not Sky Tower Shelter or Wormdune Crag or any of the other Goliath communities in the World's Edge Mountains or Spine of the World Mountains. No one would really, would know to go to a specific location. There may be some reason why they might seek it out, but that'd be
Okay.
unusual. So what do you think, guys?
In terms of where we think they're going, like, again, if I think they're the Arcane Brotherhood, then it's probably they're looking for the Caves of Hunger to find their way down to the Netherese ruins. I mean,
Now they've got injured. Would they continue that journey?
they may not. No, and certainly they're part like. And if they did, they're idiots, and we don't need to worry about them because, like, the Duergar will take care of them. If Father Limic and the Remirez don't, like, they're gonna have a world of problems down there. unless these are two like archmages, and even then, they might be overwhelmed. So, let's do it. Let's see who these people are and what they're doing. Maybe I'm just paranoid. This place has made me quick to suspect. But for all we know, these are, like, we could tell they're magic users, but, like, they could just be priests administering healing to the people who are in the litters.
Could be potential allies. I don't know. So shall I circle above, sort of 100 foot above, and you're going to land sort of in front of them, or somewhere in front of them?
Yeah, what do you think is the best? Because they know that there's at least two of us by now, so there's no real. They're not gonna just pretend you don't exist. But is it better for you to land and sneak up and be hidden and in a position to jump in, if need be, or is it better?
Well, it's just I thought if I was in sight, but they know I'm still close enough to join in if necessary. At least they won't be thinking, well, where's the other one gone? Because they'd still be able to see me, but I'd be less threatening if I'm up in the sky or immediate threat.
If diplomacy is our approach, then
well, yeah, if that's the tactic,
being as transparent as we can be, but still, like, having you up there clearly sends a signal of, like, yeah, you can see us, but one of us is literally flying, so we've got the advantage if you try anything.
Yeah, we're watching, yeah.
Okay, maybe we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Trin, you're going to be circling overhead while you fly in, Cola?
Yeah, I'll fly in. I'll probably try to land, like, a little ways ahead of them. I don't want to get too close immediately, and I'll close the distance walking. I hope, and Stormwing, I hope, would just kind of follow. Well, I could lead Stormwing with the actual, like, leads, the reins.
Okay. Then, so you once you get up, you fly in once again. You can see that the one figure. Now that you're, I'm sorry, how far away are you landing, Cola?
Maybe about 100 feet and work my way in.
Okay. So you land 100 feet away from this, and you can see once again the defenders are definitely paying very close attention to you. Now, let me see if I can find. I need one more. I don't really have like a covered in furs thing. So there is one figure who I'm not going to have a token for, but I think I've got some decent ones for the others. The lead figure who seems to step between you, who raises a staff up, looks a lot like that. There is the figure that has the arrow out, or the bow and arrow, looks like that. And there is a figure who likewise seems to be gesturing with some kind of magic, looks like that.
Magic and a sword.
So let me move these.
This is cool art, by the way. These are awesome.
Yeah, thanks. It's I think leftovers from our Rollmaster short
Oh,
campaign.
yeah.
Yeah, I found a shit ton of great stuff for that one. Okay, I'll put these folks up here. There we go, and then put her over there. What you can tell is that there's something, you can't see her ears, but there's something, vaguely odd about the woman's features, the cloaked one. The lead, the man, steps forward and says, "Come no further, dwarf. If you think to raid out here, you will find us not easy prey for you and your pet." He looks up at the sky.
What's the tone and tenor of his voice? Like, do they seem
It's as I just said.
confident?
Doesn't
like,
seem to
okay,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking for more like I guess what if I need to do an insight or whatever, that'd be cool. But like, I'm trying to get a sense of how confident they are in what they say. Like, is this a feint? Is this an actual threat? Are they concerned to me, or
This ain't no 5th edition bullshit.
no, but like, okay, all right.
It's as you can take it. I mean, he has the trappings of what you would expect from a spellcaster of some kind.
Sure. Okay. I have one hand on Stormwing's reins, but the other one I'll try to like hold the reins in the thumb and hold my hands up and say and I'll stop where I am as well. I don't mean trouble. I'm not looking to cause any trouble with you. My friend and I, we were flying and we saw you, and it looks like you have some here in need of some help. I'd like to offer it to you.
Why don't you give us a charisma check? I'll just back out your level from this.
Okay.
Pretty good.
So, 14.
Okay. So you can see he looks to his companions. What's your business out here, dwarf?
Well, the dwarves. The dwarves call the Dale home.
I've never known dwarves to ride griffins, nor to ride with beasts either. He looks up at the circling griffin.
No, surely not. There are tales and stories about how I came to be on the back of a griffin, and how this one and I became friends. And I tap Stormwing's neck area here, or probably its thigh. Actually, I'm way shorter than that. Been adventuring out here for quite some time. I can tell you these things, but but I assure you, there's nothing nefarious about it. The griffins live around here. There are nests and broods in these mountains.
You've said much, but you've not answered my question. What's your business out here?
My companions and I, we've been looking for ways to looking for ways to respond to the growing threat in the Dale.
And what threat is that?
And my hands are no longer up. They're going to go back to my sides. And I might just like idly in a non-threatening way, just kind of like have my hands on my chest, but really my fingers are on my holy symbol just in case something comes up. Well, there's been lots of trouble in the Dale of late between black ice and the growing threat of the witch. Have you not heard of these things?
We've heard of such things.
Well,
what's your name, dwarf?
My name is Hammerstone.
And you see the elven woman, the cloaked woman, leans over and says something to the wizard. And he looks back. Are you of the clan that till late led the Dwarven Valley settlement?
Tightening grip on the holy symbol just a little bit. Sadly, no longer. Not truly. I am and am not of the Hammerstones. That's a complicated story and a painful one to tell. I was once part of the Hammerstones, yes.
He looks back at the hooded woman, and there's some words that are passed back and forth between the two, and he looks back. You're an outcast, then?
Aye.
The more wild-looking woman steps forward and says something to the wizard, and he looks over. Are you a priest, or simply one that is, or are you simply overly religious, dwarf?
You know, I know many priests who aren't that religious themselves, when it comes right down to it. But no, a priest I am. A follower of Clangadin Silverbeard.
He looks back at the wild-looking woman, and then at the hooded woman. There's a bit of back and forth, and he looks over. That's your god of war.
One of, aye.
Is your intent war, then?
Friend, the only person in danger of a war instigated by me would be the White Witch. And any who serve her. If you don't serve her, then I may count you as friend. And as I said, you look like your people look like they could use some help, and I can do that.
So he looks back at the two women. There's a bit of a... You can tell they're talking, but you just can't overhear what they're saying. He then looks over at the big burly person. And he says, well, if it's help you offer, and if your god does more than just war, there are some here who could use of your god's blessings. We have injured members of our party.
Clangadin, healing is among the skills and blessings that Clangadin offers, yes.
Then,
but
you travel with an unusual companion, dwarf.
Yes. That was the next thing I needed to tell you about. God, my Scottish is terrible today. I'm so
making
sorry,
you use it
Darren.
a lot, so
I haven't used it in a very long time here either, and I apologize, Darren. This is probably really offensive to a UKer.
No more so than my usual bullshit, I think.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. At any rate, I travel with my companion. He's a gnoll. There's no reason to hide that.
I trust we have nothing to fear from your ally.
No, not this one. And you might have heard a little bit of an L at the end of that, with a little smirk from Cola's face. No, he, like me, is an outcast of his own people, in a way.
Then
I had some trouble with his, but I'll let him tell you that story. But no, I trust him with my life.
Then he looks back at the big bundled companion. You should know that we travel with unusual companions ourselves. And he gestures with his staff towards the hooded ally. And he throws back the hood to reveal that it is a full-blooded orc that he travels with.
I gotta pause. Andrew needs to pause here. This man will see an immediate kind of visceral knee-jerk tensing. Like Cola tenses up immediately.
Yeah.
And takes a step back. And my hand.
Stormwind kind of will pick that up from you. Flutters.
Yeah. My hand almost starts moving from the holy symbol to the axe at my side.
I think you hear that big boar next to the orc also start squealing and kind of snapping. The wizard looks back and says, "If your knoll means no threat to you, my companion means no threat to us, then my companion will mean no threat to you."
My hand stops moving. I quickly look at it. I look at the orc. I look at Stormwing and back at the man. And my hand will release and relax. No, I dare say if he meant me any harm, he would have done it already. Old habits, you understand. There's a long animosity between our people, his and mine.
And you hear a almost animalistic, like bear-like growl come from the orc. The animosity seems to be running both ways.
But of course, we all live in strange, unprecedented, and frankly dangerous times. And as I've learned, and I look up at Trin flying above, these kinds of times often find ourselves with the most unusual of allies and companions.
Indeed. Then, dwarf, can you help?
Certainly I can help.
And
What brings you out here? And I'll start like slowly making my way, and
there's time for that later. If you're bring your ally down, if you can assist our allies, then we best not waste. They've been injured. Flying creatures with horns and teeth injured them.
Flying creatures with horns and teeth.
Sages call them paritons.
Oh, I'm very familiar. We killed a few of them ourselves not a few days ago.
He looks over at the wild-looking woman, and
in fact, I might even, for good measure, like I probably kept, if you allow it, I might have kept one of the horns in Stormwing's pack, and I'll like have it.
I mean, you have to. That's the kind of thing you can't just have hanging loose.
Oh, it'll flap and waver and stab
and I mean,
poor
skewer.
Yeah, skewer the griffin. No, okay, well that's fine. I don't need to have it. Don't need proof.
Sky Tower shelter safety regulations require that all parrots and horns be safely secured on your
in the
griffin
upright
ornaments.
compartments.
I had a friend who this is years ago, but he was an engineer and a structural engineer, and he'd been hired. I can't remember which airline it was. Canadian Airline decided, this is back when flat screens were first part of a thing. They thought that they could just like bolt a flat screen up to the the bulkhead. And he's like, we want you to come out and do a structural analysis because every time we start up the plane, it feels like it's going to rattle off the wall. So,
yeah.
Okay, so what do you do?
I'll gently pat Stormwing and kind of, I mean, I don't speak Griffin, but like,
I don't speak dog, and
and
it doesn't stop me from talking to Anna
Yeah.
all the time.
I'll tell Stormwing, and maybe he'll understand or not, but tell him to kind of hold back, like hang back, or maybe go fly up above. Just stay out of the way, just in case this could very well still be a trap.
So you can think of it like the Griffins, for one, like one of the reasons why you guys have picked up some pigeon Jotun is because that's how you command the Griffins.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because that is the language of the Goliaths. They're also, you can think of them as like fairly well trained dogs. So like communicating, like, hey, just do over. You could train them to the point where you could let them like do Overwatch or stuff like that.
Sure.
They're not at that point right now. You guys have not had time to spend that.
Okay. So they're not quite shepherds, but they're not quite retrievers either.
No, like they've gone through, you've got them through their basic training. They got their certificates for it, for puppy training.
Yeah, they know how to bury their shit and everything. And keep and to bury it away from camp. Okay, so I'll say that to Stormwing. One is to keep him safe, but also because I need some sort of insurance plan to get out of here, just in case.
In case you're just gonna have it stay.
I'll have Stormwing stay, or just kind of fly circle ahead
again,
of
you
it.
can't, it's not trained enough to do that.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I'm saying, is that like you would need to spend more time to get this thing trained. It knows stay, it knows come, it knows hunt. It doesn't know,
Yeah. I'll tell Stormwing to stay, and I'll move forward. I'll try to gesture up to Trin. Actually, no.
You guys can assume.
I'm gonna leave Trin up there, if that's okay, Darren.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Because you coming down, if this is a trap, you coming down only brings you into the trap. What keeping you up there, at the very least, divides their attention between up there and down here. So, some sort of insurance might be a better idea.
Okay.
So I'll follow him. Yeah.
Okay. So it takes you about a minute to traverse the distance from where you've landed till you reach there. As you get up, what you realize is that there are, let's see here, there is a human male, two human males, a human male who seems to have very delicate features similar to the hooded woman. What makes you think maybe, like, you can't see the ears, but maybe there's some elvish blood in there. And then you see there is another orc that is bundled up. Those are the four who are bundled.
And presumably injured.
Yes. They all look like that they're unconscious or feverish and not really.
So they like, okay, if I gently undo some of their, I'll first tell him, like, I'll need to undo some of these wrappings to assess their injuries. You have a problem with that?
So as you walk up, he says, "What, Hammerstone? What is your full name?"
My allies and my friends call me Cola.
Cola. I'm Asleg.
Well met, Aslik.
Okay. And I'm gonna just give the names for each of these for you.
We can presume that we kind of do this around the circle.
Yeah. He gestures to the wild woman. Oh, look at that! I set the tokens properly.
I mean, Darren, I should say, like, feel free to do you. I don't want to also, like, if this.
Oh no, I mean Trin's super cautious, and he's happy to do what he thinks is best, which is probably stay back and survey. And he could always fly back to Sky Tower if he thought he got really desperate. It's fairly close. Fair.
No, I just don't want to steal the limelight here.
No.
You got stuff you want to do.
Okay, and
okay. So I guess I would probably start with assessing the four of them.
So he introduces, I am Asleg, Iona, gestures to the wild woman, Cesari to the hooded woman, and Rookdag. And the orc snarls at you once again. They were attacked. They were injured quite badly. We were able to stabilize them. Coda, why don't you give us a wisdom check now that you're up close here? Just gonna see if you pick up anything. Unfortunately, you don't get to add your level to it.
Okay.
That 20 though.
To. 20 even.
Fantastic. So there are 3 things that you will be able to pick up here. As you're going up, it sounds like you've been quite cautious. What you can see is around. She tries to have it concealed. But let me get the. Is it here?
Yep. Time to drink.
Yep. Have a drink. Grab another book. I want to make sure I get the description correct here. Okay. You can see that around Iona's neck there is a holy symbol that is half concealed, but from what you can see, there is from the center of the amulet, which is half concealed, there is a wave that is crusting over in one other direction. You know that is... no, this is actually... this is the symbol of Umberlee. Umberlee is known as the Bitch Queen, the Sea Queen, and the Queen of the Depths. Her domain is over oceans, currents, waves, and sea winds.
I would probably look at Iona and say, tilt my head a bit. You are extremely far from home.
Well, so you would also know that Umberlee is a chaotic evil goddess.
I probably won't say that, and I would probably look at her very hesitantly.
Yeah. So you can see what you can see on Cesare is while she's very bundled up and whatnot, there is hints of tattoos on her, like the side of her chin. You've seen tattoos similar to that on one of your companions before.
Oh, let me think now.
Store.
Yeah, I was going to say it's either Druin or Brune or Store.
And only because Store was originally from Luskan.
Right, okay. And I understand that's a general... Is it a general cultural thing or a specific subculture kind of thing?
Luskan is a very, very rough town. I mean, there are pirates. The ships, not for nothing, like they're not just street gangs. They also run gangs of pirate ships that will prey on the shipping in the Sword Coast. One of the reasons why Luskan's, I mean, partly because of the fractious nature of the politics there, but also because they're a bunch of pirates. Waterdeep is able to be influential because they don't raid other people's, merchant ships. Ditto for Baldur's Gate. For Luskan, they are very happy to be criminals and then try and deny it in a poor, in a clumsy way.
The more he sees, the less Kola is inclined to help these people. But
the final thing you see, one of the humans, the injured humans, you can more clearly see, once you get in a little closer, you can see the markings on him. And these they are very similar to the ones you saw in, way back in Bryn Shander. So not only is it like the tattoos of one of the, one of the gangs from Luskan, one of the guys who is bundled up in here, he has tattoos of Shipwrethnor.
The were-rat guy.
Same gang, same, organization. So, Aslik, however, with that good of a roll, you haven't tweaked it to anybody. He says, then, can you assist them? Well, I guess one other thing I'll give you is that whatever is bundled up on the, like, they're transported on the what do you call it, on the sleds, but they're the two big sleds, the ones that seem to actually be transporting stuff. They are riding very deep in the snow. Whatever else is on these things is very, very heavy.
I'm trying to recall my former connection to the black ice. Was it such that it needed to be very close in proximity? I needed to see it to feel any sort of draw or pang of desire from it?
You worked pretty hard to try and keep yourself free of it. It's curious, if you do turn your mind towards that, since your return, you haven't thought about the black ice at all.
Character growth.
Or, I mean, at the very least, since your ring triggered and you vanished.
Oh, right.
But you haven't turned your mind to it yet.
Back. I forgot about that little excursion to the afterlife. Right. Okay. I'll take note of it. But right. But yeah, I think at this point, Cola's a little nervous. It doesn't. Like, definitely getting the, like, I've made a mistake kind of vibe, but I'm committed now. And if I don't do anything, then I'm just giving them an excuse to do what they might already be planning on doing. But
while, you know, Cesare and Iona, they both seem quite cautious and definitely have, while Cesare's bow has been lowered, you get the sense that she's quite skilled with that and will be able to get it back up and on you quite quickly. Aslake does not have a single mark on him. There's no tears in his clothing or anything like that, which suggests that while his allies may have been, attacked and injured by those peritons, he seems to have kept himself free of it, which may speak to his power or some kind of defense.
Right. He might have been able to have some sort of magical defense to prevent injury, or, I mean, for all I know, he could just be a prideful man who used some sort of prestidigitation thing to clean himself up.
Could be.
Okay. Mechanical question, quick. 0 level spells. The 0 just indicates that they are a very basic level spell. It doesn't indicate. No, never mind. What am I talking about? I'm drunk. Okay.
Hey, it's a weekend.
So there's 4 that are injured.
If in anticipation of what you might have been asking, when you cast your 0 level spells, they are used up just like any other spells.
I realized halfway through my question that, like, no, that's not how this. It is spell spent, prepared spell spent. So I know that already. Okay. Okay, so is there do the injuries range? Like, are there more severe than others?
Yeah, the human who has the tattoo markings of Shipwreathner, he seems to be the one who is the most heavily injured.
Okay.
The orc, it's tough to tell with them because, like, they're extremely fucking tough. Dwarves are pretty tough, and they have long animosity with orcs, but the one thing that you can begrudgingly give them is that they're extraordinarily hard to kill.
Right.
So whatever injuries that orc has suffered, they seem to be hanging on fairly well. There's a human man who seems probably in his late 40s. He looks injured, but he's asleep and seems to be almost not dead, but like sleeping.
Right.
And then there is a looks like probably a half-elf man as well.
Okay. Likewise
sleeping.
I'll start with the severely injured human.
Okay.
Let me see. Well, I guess I would probably want to assess what is physically wrong with him, but you've already kind of given me some of that. I just want to check the spell itself.
Okay.
So I understand if I need to swap out my spells is what I'm thinking, like for Cure Light, or if something like First Aid might work.
Cure Light is certainly not going to be enough for these guys. You will need to be using higher level spells. These are like life-threatening wounds that these guys are suffering from.
Okay, so this is definitely... So the Viper's Tongue and the Aaron's Rod are insufficient first aid is insufficient.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I would need to basically swap out. So I'd need my Cure Serious from my 3rd level to do this.
At
I
the
would
least,
think.
yeah.
Okay, well, now knowing what I know about these people, I don't necessarily want to over demonstrate my capabilities in healing here.
Okay.
And it sounds, especially since it looks like they don't necessarily have a healer among them, so they don't necessarily know to call me different. So 3rd level spells, I'll take out my remove curse.
One thing, just so you can consider with Trin. Trin has absolutely no clue of what's happening on the ground right now. He has no, as far as you know, no warning of who these people actually are.
Yeah, I know. But I don't have a way to communicate that to him. Shit.
Because you did get new information once you got up close and saw who these people actually are.
Yeah, I know. But like you also said that with the nat 20, they didn't clock that I picked anything up.
Precisely.
And so suddenly, now that I'm in their vicinity, suddenly now signaling to my friend might give the wrong impression.
Unless you give a good explanation for why you would need to do so.
I will say, I'm gonna need my Urpak, and I signal up to Trin and wave him to come down.
Okay, so Trin, that will allow you to land. Why don't we take our mid-session break right now? And then when we come back, we'll see as you walk over to your pack on the Griffin and Trin lands, you guys will have an opportunity to talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll see what you tell them. So for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily.
What are you thinking then?
Oh, I think we've made a mistake. These are the same people who are behind the black ice in the first place, and here I am. My opening salvo was saying that I'm actively against anyone who has the black ice. So this is not going to end well.
What do you think for an exit strategy then?
I mean, the problem is you've got at least one magic caster, or two. You got two magic casters. That orc, the one that's on his feet anyway, but maybe even the one that's injured. They're going to be really tough to take down. We don't have our heavy hitters with us.
But I mean, if you walk over to me, we could basically just withdraw at that point, or try to.
We could.
Won't be much distance, but it would be a bit of distance, and Storm would be able to fly down and swoop in, pick you up.
They'll be able to. Well, Stormwing just stayed put. So if you land beside Stormwing, because I have to go get my herb pack. But
Yeah.
they might get a pot shot off. Like the one with
Magic
the bow
or
will
whatever.
almost certainly get to shoot us. I assume that she knows what she's doing, so she'll probably hit. And Eslig and Cesari, like they'd be able to get some spells off. But at the same time, like we're also not that far from, we're not far from Sky Tower shelters. So like, if we needed to run back, although we've wasted a really good travel day then, but basically, you know, escape is to hop on the dragons and GTFO and Sky Tower shelter, and then also to warn the Goliaths that this party is coming, right? Like,
That's what I was saying. I don't know, but what are their intentions? You think they're going to the cave?
Yeah, they refused to answer that question.
But is that powerful to them? Is it this Blackstone stuff? I don't really know the background behind it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So the background on the crystal shard and the black ice, it's this substance that exists, you know, underground here in the Dale. The dwarves had discovered it and started harvesting it. The stuff is, you know, harder and denser than the best metals that you have to make armor and weapons with. Extremely difficult to break, which makes it it's also very difficult to work, but to work with. But like, so just basically excellent for armor and weapons, just as a general rule. The problem is there's a significant drawback or price to be paid for anyone wielding such armor or weapons that are made from the black ice, which is it has a very corrupting influence on its bearers. Like mentally, it will cause deep and constant paranoia and obsession with the ice itself, which will lead into paranoia and the assumption of everyone is out to get you. You won't be able to sate your desire for increased power and you know,
it's just cursed, the whole entire sort of
everything about it, being in contact with it for, you know, any length of time, really. So it's and the dwarves like had outfitted, or at least the half of the dwarves that my family took over, like basically the entire Hammerstone clan, its soldiers had been outfitted in this stuff, at least weapons wise, and so that corrupting effect was having a hold on them. So, and these people then, if these are the people who are tied to, you know, bringing that stuff out of the Dale and bringing it to Luskan and continuing that trade in the black trade, which means that I'm on the wrong side of the Hammerstone Dwarven Valley kind of political spectrum for them. and I've kind of betrayed where I stand on the issue of the black ice right off the bat. So,
do you remember what happened to the black ice weapons that were collected from the Hammerstones?
we destroyed them, I thought. Or did the dwarves lock them away to get... Oh!
They were locked away, but something happened while you guys were dealing with Evermelt and flying to the island. Do you remember what that was?
Well, there was we know that in Bryn Shander, a speaker Devessa Deshane disappeared and she was replaced.
Maybe you missed a session, Andrew.
The Valley.
What happened? What you found when you last time you guys visited the Dwarven Valley? What you found was that someone, who they think were Dvergar, went underground, broke into the vault, and stole all of that black ice.
Cola's now eyeing the big, heavy toboggans and sleds. You
know that what was collected between the armor and the weaponry and whatnot, certainly more than what was on these two things.
Sure.
It was the Dvergar who stole that and and then disappeared underground. Like they were unable to pursue them through the Underdark to find where they went. Somehow the Dvergar knew that it was being stored there, were able to break in, through the Underdark and then disappear.
Hmm. Yeah, so Darren and I were talking. It's cool. I definitely think we've made a grave mistake here. Okay. All right. Cool. So I guess you're landing, and I'm walking back to Stormwind.
Yeah, so I land next to Stormwind.
Yep. And Cola, what's the look on your face as you walk towards Trin?
With my back to these newcomers, you see a look of conflicted concern, hints of panic. As soon as I get up to you, I don't have time to give too many of the details. I'll say, I'm not sure we've made a good choice here. There's a Luskan. There's an orc, another injured orc. Their leader is they've got... is it Cesare was a magic user too? I was getting the sense, right?
Cesare is the one who had the longbow trained on you guys.
Okay, I'm confused because when we were flying, you said there were at least two. Oh, sorry, Iona's the priest. The man there, he's a wizard of some kind, and Iona, she's a priest, but not of a good god. I don't think these people are here for any sort of good purpose or intent, but they're injured, are in fact injured. That they're not lying about that.
Well, I'll start rummaging through some of the baggage on the Griffin
my herb.
Trin,
that don't look like we're just chatting about them.
Would you give us a wisdom check, please? Oh, but your wisdom is a prime. So that actually might be good enough. Notwithstanding my fucking noise. Yeah, that actually is
makes
good
you feel
enough.
like, should I use a hero point?
Well, the thing is that because the difficulty is, if you have access to luck, you could spend 6 luck and make that a success.
6.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. You can have some from me.
I'll do 3 each if you're up for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Trin, what you this is where your roguish skills are really coming in. You are looking over at what's happening. Aslag, Iona, Rukdag, and Shazari are all watching you. When Kola says, they're this, the less than flattering things he just told you, you can see Chizari leans in, and what she says to Aslag, because of your keen hearing, they're going to run. They know. So that's what you have in your mind right now, Trin, guys. I'm not saying things are going to go into combat.
Sure, but let's
get things ready just in case.
There's a high probability it's going to go into combat.
There's, so why don't you each click on your token and click on initiative. And then we'll sort of decide what you guys are going to do. And I'll go, once you guys have yours in there. Oh, great. Okay, I'll just go one down. And I can't remember, do you have a... oh, no, it's not your character that has the modifiers, Trin.
No, don't think so.
Ooh, Rookdag. Okay. So, Rookdag, what you can see, Trin, is that Rookdag has gripped that javelin quite heavily as if he's getting something ready. You can hear the creaking of or tensing of the bowstring for Chisari. She's got that longbow in hand still. Cola, what are you doing?
Can I have I passed that information to Cola? I say,
Yeah, I think. Well, you'd say something. Let's say you'd say something at the start of the. And kind of, what do you say?
They've realised you're onto them. They think we're going to run, and let's make so.
Okay, so I think you're going to run. Cola, you spare a look back, and you see that, I think probably just because of your comment about the orc before, your eyes on him, and if you could distill orcish rage into something, that's the look that you're getting right now. Like this, you have seen this look before when you have faced orcs. This is the, I'm about to motherfucking kill you.
Yeah. I'll look back at Trin and say, well, let's not keep him waiting then. Up we go.
What do you do?
So, am I first in the turn order?
You're next up. Yeah, they've got actions that they've.
Rookdag is 8, but okay.
They've ready stuff. My
sure.
Description of them grabbing the javelins and the tensing of the bows, that may have mechanical consequence.
Sure, for sure. Seeing all that, then let's bounce. I'm mounting Stormwing.
Okay, so would you give us a dexterity check, please? I'll let you add your strength to this. Oh, nice. Okay, so you, despite your, dwarven stature, you're able to throw yourself back up on.
I'm quite motivated.
Chisari is going to unleash 2 arrows at you in quick succession. Cola, what's your AC, Cola?
Shit. I keep forgetting where the hell it is. 18. There we go.
18, okay. One of those hits. Thwack. You take 7 points of damage, and then Rookdag is actually going to throw at Stormwing. And I think Stormwing has a 15 AC? Is that right? Or is it less? It's ascending in this game. Griffin is 17 AC. So he hurls 19, so not a crit. But he hurls this thing at it. That is 7 points of damage that Stormwing takes, screeches and rears back, but you are on. Athleg's turn.
Sorry, how much damage again for Stormwing?
Stormwing 7.
7, okay. Sorry.
Athleg sort of looks and says, "No!" And he speaks some arcane words, and then there's 5 of these motes of light appear, and as he gestures his hand along, and as they do, they form. They each shoot out red in color towards you, Cola. So let's see. I'm just gonna roll in chat rather than continually roll. So I am very sorry for this. 15 points of damage as these magic missiles slam into you. Odd that he didn't open with a much more powerful spell. Then it is Iona's turn.
That was powerful enough.
Yeah. And Iona looks at you. Give me a second here. And with the sound of crashing waves, she shouts to both of you, dismount. And you can feel there's this
two compared to
power.
the command game.
So what I need is from each of you, from Trin and Cola, would you give us, these are going to be charisma saves. And so each make a charisma save, and I'll figure out what the DC is here. For you, it's a 19 for Trin, and it is 23 for Cola.
There's no way.
Because there is a save and throw section in there, but...
Yeah, well, the saving throw section, you can just click on your check. It's the same thing. You always get to add your level to it, so... Oh, so you are 3 shy of your save, Trin. If you want to spend luck, Cola, you would need to spend a hero point to re-roll if you like.
I think I will.
Okay.
I think I'll use the luck.
Okay. So you resist. Oh no, it's worse. All right. So Cola, you unfortunately next action you're going to need to throw yourself off of the mount. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Then it is Trin's turn. So you felt the compulsion. You can see that Cola, having thrown himself up onto the mount, he's about to dismount as well. What would you like to do?
If... Just so I get an idea, if I got onto little one and ditched all the gear, would I be able to pick Cola up? Or the Griffin, would he be able to in-flight?
The Griffin, Cola's total weight, what is the Griffin's...
Oh, I don't have my EVs sorted out, but I'm heavy.
Yeah, but I think that, like, in order for it to be immobile, it wouldn't be very pretty. But let's see here. Here we go. The weight they can totally cover or totally carry is...
So 46 is overburdened, isn't it?
It's still 5 per round. And that's 3 times the ER. So that'd be 1545, I guess. I think what I'll let it do is we'll have it make a strength check. If that's what you want to do. If you want to get little one to just pluck Cola off of his saddle, he's about to get out of it anyway and then take to the air.
I mean, I won't be able to do all that in one go anyway because I'll have to get on first. I take it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were on already. Yeah, so you can.
Yeah, because I've been off and going through the pack as if we're trying to find stuff. Yeah.
So
I'm going to jump on.
Yeah.
Or try to.
Okay. So go ahead and... Well, I think, you know what? I'm fine with you because picture the way that this has worked is you've landed, right? And Cola's walked over, and that's when Cola's been... As you've been on there, you wouldn't have immediately hopped off because you wouldn't have known what he wanted him to do. You're probably still in the saddle as he walks up. He says that thing to you. You see that the hooded woman heard, and then you're like, they know, and that's when all this shit kicked off. So I think you're still in the saddle.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I'm going to try sort of form my action to just cut the bindings on how all my gear is saddled to the Griffin, and sort of try and take up and try and sort of with his claws pick up Cola.
What's the total gear on your Griffin right now? Like how close is he to 3 times?
I mean he's just under 2 at the moment, if you don't include me.
Just under 2? Yeah, you know what? Like I think with just Cola and not all his gear and stuff, which is stored on Stormwing, I think you're fine grabbing just him.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it's not all his gear as well. Okay. Yeah.
So why don't we do this?
I'll try and lift up and try and pick him up.
Why don't you give us a charisma check, please? This is just for controlling little one. Nat 20.
Whoa!
Beautiful. So it leaps up. Cola's almost like, going to be mid, in mid dismount when you're suddenly plucked up by little one, and you. So little one with picking him up would be able to do half movement. So he's about 40 feet up into the air at this point. Mm-hmm. And that brings us to the end of round 1. Now, round 2. You would have been trying to dismount Cola, but you've satisfied that criteria now. So is anyone casting spells this round?
Yeah, probably.
I can tell you, Iona is also going to be casting a spell, as is Aslig. None of you guys can tell what Aslig's casting, so...
Yeah, can you sort of counterspell it or something, can't you?
You can't necessarily counterspell, at least not timing-wise. What you can do is you pick what you're doing, and then you can try and identify what the other one's doing, and then you can adjust. Like, for instance, the example they give is that if you decided you're going to cast Magic Missile, and then you see they're casting and you successfully identify what they're casting, and you see they're going to cast Shield, you can then change your spell, and instead you just act at the end of the round.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not wasting your spell.
It doesn't affect me, obviously.
No,
but yeah,
it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm casting a spell, but it doesn't technically affect AC.
Oh, no, that doesn't matter. Those are two different things. Maneuvers that affect AC are important, and whether you're casting a spell. So let me see if Iona can see what you're casting. No way. Would you like to try and see what Iona is casting?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yep. So give us a wisdom check then, please.
Wisdom check.
This will be wisdom's favored for you, so this will be prime.
No.
Not 1. You have no idea.
Okay. No idea.
Clue.
That's all fair. I'm a little distracted right now.
Yep, that's a fair thing to say. All right, then if that's the case, go ahead and click on your tokens, guys, and click on initiative.
Jesus, roll 20.
There you go. Somebody's getting it to work for them. Let me get.
Yeah, but mine needs to go off. I really needed to get like a huge roll here for this spell. Otherwise, it's completely useless.
I want to make some distance. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so there we are. All right, so then first up will be Trin. What are you doing, Trin?
Yeah, I'm just shouting to the little one, Get us out of here. Go.
So remember, just like on land, they can jog to double distance, or they can run to do triple.
Yeah, run as
so
much as possible. Wings
are beating. It's going to be able to move 240. So you're now 280 feet away from where you started. Then it is Rookdag's turn. I think that is way too far away for his javelins. So he just is shouting and cursing. Then it's Chazari. That I think is going to be medium range for longbows, though, because they can fire pretty far. 280 feet. Let's see about ranged. Here we go. Range combat.
Oh shit! Maybe I shouldn't have cast a spell. I mean, the Griffins aren't stupid. Stormwing's not going to stay there if he senses danger.
Oh, most definitely not. Like, Stormwing is going to fly away with Little One.
Yeah, okay. I don't need to specifically command Stormwing to come with us.
No. It will not move until... Oh, you know what? Yeah, shit. That means, actually, Rookdag can throw another javelin at Stormwing.
Oh, shit. Right, yeah.
That's an 18. It's a hit. So... Ooh, 10 points of damage. Fuck. Then it is... So Chazari's got those 2 shots. It's at -2. So she is firing at... I think at Little One.
It's only got 1 range in here, Kev. What's that?
So what it means is that's the close range. Double that is medium range -2. I think triple that is long range, which is -6 to hit.
Right.
Okay, so she has -2 to hit here, which means I get +4. So I need 13. Okay, so only 1 hits. And that means that little one is going to take 4 points of damage.
Okay.
It's incredible that she's able to shoot this far. No, oh, you know what? I forgot the -2 because she's also... Actually, it missed. Because she's firing 2 shots, so it's another -2.
Oh, yeah.
So that was enough to miss. Cola, you're up next. What are you doing? You're very high up right now. In the
I was going to yell. So I don't need to yell at Stormwing to move. I wish that it happened first, but I'm trying to grasp my holy symbol. I'm going to cast prayer on us.
Okay. I think what you need is, why don't you give us a Constitution save against, because from where you're, where you are, there's going to be a chance of the spell being disrupted.
Fair. That is fair.
So,
come on, it's secondary.
Second level spell?
Prayer's a 3rd level spell.
3rd level spell. Okay, so then your... All right, Cola. It's going to be 17 for your con save.
Okay.
You have to add your... saves you always add your bubble.
Secondary, so come on, let's roll well here. Ugh. I can blow my luck points to bring it up to 16, but I still need... Oh, Trin's got none left.
Trin's got none left, unfortunately.
We've got nothing. Okay. Shit.
You could re-roll if you wanted to.
You can spend a hero point and re-roll.
Oh, God. I don't... That's the last one left. But we could die if we don't. So we need to get the hell out of here. Fine. I'll blow
In fairness,
the last one.
You're 280 feet away right now.
That's true. Most magic is not going to be able to... Like, Aslig is probably the only one who can do anything to us at this point now.
Quite possibly, yeah.
So, okay. I guess that's it. We don't get prayer off. I lose the spell, but... It is what it is. It's very hard to concentrate on spellcasting in my current predicament.
You're being held in a griffin's claws while hurtling through the air as fast as this griffin can go. So it's...
And little one is... Although little one... Like, our griffins have, like... they know not to, like, necessarily try to kill us with their talons.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
like,
there's not.
He's focusing on flying, so he might just be gripping me just a little bit too tight, and I've got some claws, like, in the...
Yep.
Like, they're really pinching against the leather underlay of my armor.
Well, it's like, I mean, again, anyone who's ever had a puppy or whatnot, like, their teeth aren't doing any fucking damage to you, but it doesn't feel good,
Oh, no, when my cat is, like, playing with me and I get my hand stuck in her claws and her teeth, it ain't fun.
No. All right, so oh, you know what? Oh, man.
Oh, no, what now?
No, you're actually out of range for the 2 spells that the guys were going to do. You're now so far away that all of you guys are out of range.
Thank God for
very
griffins.
Quickly, let's just remove all turns, because I'm assuming you're not coming back to try and attack these guys. Once again, you're able to affect an escape.
He's not just going to dive bomb me into the center of the group, and I'll do Axe Storm of Clangedon on them. And
I mean, you can if you want.
No, I doubt I would one-shot
a cola bomb.
A cola bomb. Oh, no.
Okay, let me grab your enemies here, and I'm going to...
Oh, my God. That was the wrong move.
Okay, let's...
I'll be heading straight to Sky Tower, shall I?
Okay.
At this stage.
Okay. To put our enemies over here.
Perfectly good day of weather, and we wasted it on helping a bunch of assholes.
Okay, so if you turn back and fly back to Sky Tower Shelter, I think that there is a point as you're flying along where Stormwing flies up underneath Little One when she slows down, and
like the aerial refuel of a bomber or something.
Exactly, you can just drop you onto the thing. Give us a dexterity check.
I don't know if I don't really know that I want to, Kevin. We're too high up. If this doesn't go well,
I think we'll reduce altitude before we attempt this maneuver. so at least we're a little bit closer to the ground.
How much does Cola and Stormwing have a long
2 foot off the ground?
I mean, there's going to be a dex check involved even on the ground, because a Griffin's landing is not exactly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm just saying, Cola and it took at first Cola did not trust Stormwing at all. It's taken him a long time to get to the point where like he's willing to fly on him and they're getting to know each other a little bit better. Does Cola trust Stormwing to grab him in his claws if this doesn't work?
I love the idea that you
know.
see Stormwing coming up from underneath it and you're like, no!
I don't
We're not
want
doing
it.
this!
But at some point, I think little one just lets go, knowing what's happening, and I'm not given any choice. So let's
give
see.
us a dex check.
I might be glad I kept that luck. Oh,
That's isn't your dex quite good?
my dex is 13, and it's not a primary.
So you got 2.
It's a tertiary.
Is dex tertiary for you? Oh
Yeah,
no!
it is.
So
I shouldn't
you
be laughing at this.
drop
This is
and you
horrifying.
hit and slide and like, and right off of the saddle. Fortunately, Stormwing is able to catch you before you hit the ground.
All right, situation is not very well improved.
Yeah. If we were playing with any kind of fear or sanity rules, you'd be losing some at this point.
Oh god, yeah, I'm basically being like tossed between the two griffins like a ball.
Well, and they're expecting this is a maneuver that most Goliaths can pull off flawlessly, right? So,
Yeah, well,
yeah, so it is a rough. Why don't you give us one more dex save, please? Let's see if you take any damage from tumbling to the ground. Now,
of course I
oh
do.
no!
of course I do.
All right, would you give us a 3d6 roll, please?
Oh.
13 points of damage.
Oh my god.
That's a rough landing.
That's a very rough landing.
It's a very rough landing.
So you finally come to a rest. Trin, you and Little One land. So you guys have not had a chance to really talk through all. The only thing you've said is that you've made allusions to the priestess being of a god that is not trustworthy, and then shit just went off. So
Yeah.
Trin is completely in the dark. What do you? I guess first off, do you have any spells you want to cast right now? Storming has got has got injuries, and you're pretty banged up as well.
Yeah. So I'll be swapping out a couple of my my spells here today to do this, but so I'll do. It's first levels I can transfer with Cure Light, and third with Cure
First
Serious.
is Cure Light, third is Cure Serious, and fourth
and I've
is
got-
Healing Circle.
I have 3. Oh wait, Healing Circle can give me multiple heals, right? Chael's been doing that.
Yeah, it's a burst heal.
I could heal both Stormwing, and that's more efficient. I can do that. I can heal both of us at the same time then.
Yeah, I think it's.
So I'll try that first for a 4th level. Let me find it here. Healing Circle. Okay. Okay, here we go. Curing 2d8 points of damage, 20-foot radius. Okay, so 2d8.
Okay.
Where's my cursor? The one bad thing about this campaign is that the cursor disappears in the map sometimes, and I can't see where the hell I'm.
Yeah. It's a lot of white in that map.
Okay,
Nice.
14.
Well
And that's
done.
14
Holy smokes.
between the two of us, or 14
Nope, each. Everyone in that circle gets it.
Okay, that's a nice start. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
So
There's the
Stormwing's basically up to full, so I'll spend another Cure Serious on myself
Okay,
to get
I think it's
myself back
3d8,
up.
isn't it?
I have to check here quick again, but probably. As I'm doing this, I'll say.
Serious is 3d8.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
17.
Nice.
Wow.
Cola
way
is
better than
ready to get back
AD&D's
into it.
Pure moderate. So they were a bad bunch. I'm sorry, friend, and I say that to Trin, but then also to Stormwing and pat him. I'm sorry, friend. That was a bad call on my part. They were. I suspect they're. I'm almost certain they're in league with the Arcane Brotherhood. There was a Luskan woman there. That priest. She was. I forget the name, Kevin. But
Umberly. The bitch queen.
She worshipped Umberly, and I spit on the ground after I say the name. And that orc, well, he's an orc, so what the fuck do you want? They were, they genuinely did need healing, but
Well, you didn't learn their intentions, or
what they
doing here.
no, they weren't time for that. They were insistent on getting the healing done right away. I asked what they were doing out here. I told them a bit of what we were up to. Kept it fairly vague, mostly finding ways to counter the witches' activities up here and acting against them. And I mentioned the black ice as one of the ills that's affecting the Dale.
Are they allies of this witch you talk of?
I'll admit that I generally just assume anybody who's involved in the black ice is part of everything else that's going on here, but I know that that's not necessarily always the case. But
yeah, what have you found any, apart from the like those berserkers making use of the
no,
black
they're
ice?
They're two separate things that are going on here. The black ice, I don't think there's been direct connection between the black ice and
There's
the witch
a
that
necromancer who claims to be Akar Kessel, the master of the original Crystal Tower. He was the one, they faced him underground, underneath the Dwarven Valley. He seemed to be the mastermind of it, and the black ice, at least that was brought into the Dwarven Valley, seemed to come from the slopes of, I can't remember the name of the mountain is. Calvin's Cairn.
Calvin's Cairn, yeah.
Yeah, where the original Crystal Tower was located.
So, but my suspicion was less to do with, like, I don't think I necessarily put them at off ease when I mentioned that I'm acting against the witch, so much as two things. One, I told them that I called the ice a black mark on the Dale. I said that it was one of the problems the Dale's been afflicted by, which gives them an inkling of what I thought about the black ice and those who trade in it. But second, I gave him my name, and I wasn't, and I was truthful about it. I could have hid it. I could have, and knowing that they were Luskins, I could have tried to feign that I was one of the Hammerstones that got away from the valley when all the trouble started, but I was still loyal to my uncle. But I'm not one for lying, and the second I said my real first name, I felt it was a mistake to say it. They would know at that point, so there was no point in lying. I might as well tell them that I was against my uncle's actions from the start, or else. But
And did you get to see what they carried on those heavy sleds?
no, they were covered. Didn't get a good look at them. I have my suspicions, but there's no way they're carrying all those weapons that were stolen out of the valley. At least not all of them. They could be carrying parts of them, but I doubt it. More likely they've got that those are actual slabs of black ice that they're transporting.
And there's no question
reason.
from before, there's no question that it was the Dvergar who stole the black ice from before. And
Right.
you guys have not, the Dvergar are a relatively new player in this. You only first notice when you guys were visiting, you may remember when you were coming back from the Caves of Hunger the first time, you stayed at one of the communities on, like Cairn Dinaval, I think, on the one of the lakes. And that's when you heard that someone had come across dwarves and was attacked by a dwarf, but it was a Dvergar. And then when you got back to the Dwarven Valley, you found that the Dvergar had stolen that stuff. As far as you know, the Dark Dwarves have not been a presence in the Icewind Dale before. Now you've seen two different instances where, for one, they seem to be the ones who stole the ice, and two, they seem to be the ones, or there's at least some that have some interest in that Netherese ruin.
Right. Well, and like,
how does that fit
also
together?
the fact that like they're clearly they also have, like, I don't know how big the Underdark is. I know it's massive, but like And I don't assume that the dwarves in the Caves of Hunger have a direct tunnel all the way across the Dale to the Dwarven Valley. It's likely that they have multiple holds under the ground here.
No,
but...
I think you can safely assume that. Like in the Forgotten Realms, there are multiple layers of the Underdark, and you as a dwarf would know this, just because it's like those on the surface think, oh, there's just the surface and there's the beneath, but there's like and then they've got names for it, but there are like 3 different tiers of Underdark that all honeycomb underneath all of Faerun. And it's said that you could easily, if you knew the way and knew the ways of going, you could like reach underground here and emerge somewhere in in Kalimshan.
Oh, okay. So it's
south.
very likely that these dwarves are the same. That they could be like the same, not literally the same persons, but the same like group of dwarves traveling back and forth. So they're bringing the ice to. The thought of these Durgar having black ice on top of all their other abilities and powers.
But are they known to have allied with any of these other races?
The Dvergar have not. They have gods of their own. Ladigar, the moldering god of the dwarves. That is the master of the dark dwarves, but they've also they swear their powers. Some clans to demonic powers. They would not. At least there's no tradition of them aligning themselves with Auril, for instance. Weather doesn't really affect the Underdark all that much, so if it's winter above, who gives a shit?
So perhaps we should tell, see what the Goliaths and the people of Sky Tower think. Maybe they want to, put together some sort of hunting group to get rid of this threat while it's wounded, while it's injured.
I would think the quicker the better.
If they see him as a threat.
Well, I don't have much. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information to give them, but hopefully our word is enough by this point.
Well, we'll seek audience with somebody, obviously, to pass on the information.
Okay. So if you turn back and fly back to Sky Tower Shelter, it would only take you. This has all happened in the span of like maybe an hour and a half. It's a little bit long, maybe 2 hours, we'll say in total. And that's when you reach back, and it's not hard to find it given the weather. And as you land back in the roost, the chieftain Arn Rockfest and Kaniaka are curious. Like they immediately come up and they, what's happened? Why have you returned so soon? Is something wrong? This is Kaniaka asking you.
Yeah, we encountered a group of 4, and another 4 injured. Number.
The chieftain says, "For what?"
Kola saw him better, but I believe an elf, some sort of magic user, human, an orc with a boar, and I think another human. Yeah.
Plus 4 injured. Another human, another orc, and I think it was 2 elves that were injured.
Where did you see them?
Well, sort of 20 minutes northwest from here.
And he
by
looks,
Griffin.
These were lowlanders.
Lowlanders, but not from here. I'm afraid these are. There was a. Well, at least some of their number are Luskans.
What? And they look at each other. What is a Luskan?
It's a town far from here. Well, I don't actually forget how far away it is, but a human town.
City, in fact.
City. filled with scoundrels, pirates, ne'er-do-wells. But primarily, Luskin's been involved in the trade of that black ice I told you about that caused all the trouble in the Dwarven Valley. They're the ones perpetuating that trade.
And why are they here? Why come here?
I wasn't able to get that information out. I had landed to talk with them in parley, and I offered to help heal their wounded. But then, as I got closer, I started, and they were quite insistent that I heal before they tell me anything about their purpose here. But as soon as I got close, I could see that everything was not quite right. Priest worshipping an evil god, an orc.
Kaniaka says, Auril.
No, not Auril. Once again,
Umberlee.
Umberlee. Okay, I'm gonna write that in the darn chat so I don't.
You didn't spend your teenage years memorizing a bunch of bullshit Forgotten Realms god names, Andrew? I'm shocked.
I've been playing. I've been playing in the broader world of tabletop RPGs for 5 years now. So no, not steeped in the broader lore.
My brain is full of that shit like resin. It's up there.
Now talk to me about the world of 40K. And I can read you a tale.
Nice. So the Kaniaka says, then why are they here then? They surely aren't coming to us.
I'm not so sure. They'll pass you by for sure. I guess they're on the ways to the Cave of Hunger. They were carrying 2 large sleds with something covered, but very, very heavy.
Kaniaka says, how would they know of the caves? We know of them here, but... And the chieftain says, did you tell them? Stories from you?
No. I told them I was vague about our purpose and intent. I told them only that we're looking for ways to counteract the actions of the... Before.
When you went to the lowlands, when you saw your people, did you tell them of the caves?
Oh shit, Andrew forgets. Did we?
I think you guys shared with, at the very least, with the Thane, with...
Yeah.
And with, what's his name? The priest of Dumathoin?
Adric. Aye, but we can trust Adric. We can trust the Thane of the Dwarves. They wouldn't be in cahoots with in league with these people. These people are their enemies.
Kaniak says, then how would they know? How would they know to come here?
Do I remember the vestments that that male wizard was wearing? Because they were quite clean, crisp, and proper. So, like, do I recognize, like, from Grimm's descriptions and such? Like, would I peg him as an Arcane Brotherhood?
Grimm has nothing to do with the Arcane Brotherhood. He's originally from Candlekeep, which is a scholarly community that is either north or south or nearby, at least, Baldur's Gate, which is even further south than what Waterdeep is. So he's his master had interest in these Netherese ruins as well, and I don't know if the characters know, but players, that Grimm stole that sextant, the thing that allowed him to find the Netherese ruins.
Right.
He stole that from his master.
Right.
Didn't you say this black stuff corrupts people's minds? Maybe they've been corrupted by this stone.
It might be.
I was also curious. Didn't Adric tell you last time you were in the valley that while the most important and significant theft was the black ice? Do you remember him saying that all those Netherese artifacts were stolen recently from the vaults of Dumathoin?
I mean,
you may have missed that one as well too, Andrew. But that's something your character would have been aware of, as well. That the the Vault of Doomthoin, because of the Netherese runes out here, every now and then they're able to, in the hundreds of years that the dwarves have been out here and have traded with the Ragged Tribesmen, they've had sometimes Netherese stuff that's been traded in. They didn't identify it as such, but they kept it. But all of those unknown objects, they were stolen within the last year from the Vault of Doomthoin. When you guys brought
So if they're looking for Netherese artifacts, it could be. I mean, this was a wizard of some power. It could be that they are already aware in the broader lore of the Netherese and could have come to the Dale already aware of the ancient ruins. They could be searching for the ruins.
The ruins seem to not. It seems as if they were unknown, like to the wider world, and as far as what Grim has told you thus far, because he seems to be an expert on these matters. They're unknown. Like, it's not like it's a known that there's a crashed city out here. It's only through the exploration. You guys found that inverted tower months ago, and in the course of exploring that, realized it was part of the larger city. And then when you were exploring the Caves of Hunger, you came across some other stuff that suggested that there's actually the ruins may be more intact of one of those fallen flying cities than what you suspected.
And they may have already found something. Maybe that's what's on their sledge.
Maybe. I'm afraid I have no idea why they'd be, or what has brought them out here, or what drives them.
Well, do we need to rid the Dale of this potential threat with the help of our friends here?
If these people are dabbling in the Netherese artifacts and in the Black Ice, and even just basically if they are connected to Luskan and the troubles of the lowlands, no matter what has brought them here, they are bringing trouble to your lands. And
so to give context for Kaniaka's tribe, remember that their numbers were depleted in part by their conflict with Wormdoom Crag. They were further depleted in helping you fight. Many of their young champions helped you with Evermelt, and several of them died doing that. And then they also sent people from both Wormdoom Crag and from here to escort the Ragged Tribesmen safely to the Dwarven Valley.
Yeah, they're tapped out.
Yeah, so like they're, you would be aware, Trin I don't think would be aware of this, but you would be aware, Kola, like they're people, they're not of extremely populous people anyway, and they're spread pretty thin right now. Yeah. They may not have the people.
No, I think in fact, the warning that we would, the reason we want to give you this warning is to tell you that, it might be worth staying here in your home. Don't go out for a while. Let's spy and maybe send a scout to follow this group and wait until they have passed through your lands. But I would avoid any contact with them whatsoever.
Okay.
And we flew, so it's not like we left a trail. They wouldn't necessarily know. There's no way for them to find you unless you make yourselves known.
Kaniaka says, this wizard, is there magic that he could use to track you?
That is possible. We did move very quickly. I do recall, in fact, it looked like he was trying to cast some sort of spell as we were leaving, but I didn't seem to be affected. It may not have worked. We may have been quick enough to get away in time.
So Kaniaka looks at Arn, and Arn has he just seems like he is perpetually pissed off at something or other. But he looks at her, and he doesn't seem. I mean, again, it's just more anger from him, so it's tough to say how he really feels about this. But what he says is he looks at you, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and he says, "You are of the tribe. You are of Sky Tower Shelter. If they come for you, they will find us waiting."
if they come here at all, Trin and I would stand with you, of course. But they are small in number, but they are powerful.
Kaniaka says, then what do you propose? Whatever their reason is for being here, do we simply let them see through their whatever scheme they have in mind?
I don't think that's wise either, but we don't know anything about what their intent and purpose is.
Well, we know it's not good. Do we not set a trap for them?
Well, the other side of this is, if we were to strike to stop whatever their purpose is, I doubt we'd get a better opportunity than we have right now.
Well, that's what I
Half the
mean.
number are injured, and they don't have healers. That much we know, because they were willing to let me try to help them, even if they were going to turn on me and kill me. They seemed to be in desperate need of that, and at least two of them. The one human that I inspected was near death. The other orc his injuries looked bad, but it's very difficult to tell with his kind. He could be napping it off. The other two were injured but were sleeping, and it looked like they were stable. So with time, and some administrations, they could be healed. But the fact is, their group is weak.
What you know, if you assume that their destination is the Caves of Hunger, it's because you've Trin, you've traveled this region quite well. They need to cross at least one significant river, and they were on foot going through that hilly terrain. At best, if they push themselves, they may be able to, and they didn't have difficulty crossing the river if it's frozen, for instance. They may be able to reach the Caves of Hunger if they knew where they were going and they did not get lost. In worse weather, if bad weather comes up, that will slow them down. But or if they just can't travel if they need to rest, it may take them 2 days to get to the Caves of Hunger, making a beeline from where you encountered them directly there.
In the best possible conditions.
Best possible conditions. Like, conceivably, they're humans moving through difficult terrain in moderate weather. They can go about 7 miles in a day, and it was around that. I was just measuring to see what the distance is between where you guys encountered them. 7 or 8 miles. They might be able to make it. And then remember, you can also push yourself to move extra distances at the expense of your physical attributes for a temporary. Mm-hmm. So depending how desperate they are, and also that assumes that they don't have any difficulty crossing the river. But in the same way that this has been ideal travel weather for you, it's also really ideal. You've been in that situation traveling over land. When the good weather hits, you can suddenly make some really good headway. But if bad weather comes back in...
Yeah.
Do you think we could use the river as some sort of trap? Maybe weaken the ice? Maybe get them into trouble?
Weaken the ice and find
them.
A way to break the ice as they're crossing it?
And ambush them? If they're as dangerous and evil sounding as you make out, then they need to be dealt with like any other threat.
I agree that they need to be dealt with. I mean, their first instinct, the second they thought that we didn't believe something about what they were telling us, was to immediately resort to violence.
The other option is we could try and catch them when they're camping or sleeping.
If their destination is the Caves of Hunger as well, Trin, you're very familiar with that immediate terrain. You spent many months there with your people and the other larger Knoll communities.
Yeah, so
how
I'm
many
sure
of
we
the
could find
Knolls survived the troubles? or are you literally like the last
Well,
one?
they've scattered as far as I'm aware, so I've got no idea how many are left and where they are or anything, and they're probably not favoursome to myself.
There's no way they're going up to Evermelt, is there? Like maybe they're finding the river in order as a landmark to head north?
I think they'd already passed. Is that a road or is that a river?
It's a river.
Oh, it's a river on the map.
Yeah, it's what feeds the lakes. Where you found them, it would be, unless they were lost, which is again, like you guys have been through that. It's not inconceivable,
right?
But they were here. I guess one of the things to consider too is whether, just like you guys having difficulty without proper guides, it is difficult to make your way around on here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we don't know. Like that's the other thing. I'm reasonably, like Andrew, the player, is reasonably confident that this is an assumption I can kind of make, that the male wizard or magic user anyway, like he ain't from around here, but there's no reason to believe that the others he was with wouldn't have some familiarity with this. They might be guides.
Umberly,
they might be...
unless she's from the very far north. Umberly is she's a goddess of the ocean. So
right.
For there to be, there is that prison at the northern end of the Icewind Dale, but apart from that, there's not really communities, and she's not of the. She didn't appear to be, at least, of the ethnicity that was there. She's more likely from one of the coastal towns on the Sword Coast. Because that's where you would be. That's where the worship of Umberly. Not for nothing, she has a very strong presence in Luskan. And as for the others, there's not really any elves up here. So, like your half-elf companions that you travel with, half-elves generally come from elsewhere to settle. That doesn't mean that they couldn't be the children of elves or or human and elf parents in the 10 towns, but more likely they're from outside of the Icewind Dale. There's not an elven community that's found up here.
So it's possible that, they're, unless short of some sort of arcane method of determining their direction, or some extremely well talented ranger person, they're subject to the same challenges that we are when they are traveling.
Absolutely.
So we could pray for bad weather to slow them down, although that also affects us. But in that sense, we would have the advantage because, Trin, you know the area better, and the Goliaths certainly know the area better. Ambushing them around the river might make sense if we catch them while they're trying to ford.
Or at night.
Yeah, I mean, Kola's not super sneaky.
No, but if we get there early enough...
and don't you have, as a priest, don't you have access to silence? Yeah, a second level cleric spell.
Well then.
Invokes silence in a 15-foot radius around the target. Lasts 1 minute per level.
I am stealthier than you.
I don't think it moves though, does it?
It's on the target though. So if you...
So you can cast it on a person?
I think you can. Let's see here.
Oh, is it?
I wasn't
so
sure if you could.
It's an area.
Let's see here. It
Yeah,
says
it's an area, but I wasn't sure if it was.
It says target.
No, I meant like it's fixed area, so it doesn't follow the target if the target's moving.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Silence.
When it casts on a creature or object, the area of silence moves with it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I think that's slightly different to some versions. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, so you could, certainly a group of 3 could, travel in a 15-foot radius, I'm sure.
So, I think that could work. In the right circumstances, we wouldn't need too many people to be able to do some real damage to them if we got the jump on them. The biggest targets would be the male, like their leader, the magic user, and the orc. Not to say the others aren't a threat. They absolutely are. But the orc is going to be the hardest to take down physically. And he's got a boar, a big one.
Which might sniff you out, however silent you are.
Well, that's it. Silence is one thing, but that boar, pigs have a pretty good sense of smell. So we'd have to keep that in mind.
The weather may help with that strong wind.
I mean, I think if we were to convince any of our allies to come with, I mean, Joliku is a thief, is a sneaky person herself, I think, if memory serves.
Are they all in the Dwarven Valley, though?
Oh, those ones went to...
Yeah,
okay.
like all your Goliath... that's why your Goliath allies and why the... What's his name? The Werebear. They're all with the...
Oh, Austin is in the valley, too?
Austin's in the valley, yeah.
Oh, shit. Because what I wouldn't give for him to join us on this. No, that's true. So the Goliaths,
I mean, they are also
the C team here.
One of the upsides is they are like a half day's flight away.
Yeah, I mean, urgency is for me because there's only 4 of them at the moment instead of 8. You know, if we don't do it tonight, then their numbers could be doubled. Especially if you say this barbarian-looking woman may be able to heal them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little confused because she is a priest. She's a priest of like Umberly is an evil god, but she's her machinations and her focus in life is that of a priest. Presumably, they have access to some sort of healing, but if they did, then it's either not very good healing, or she's withholding that from them, or
used it on the stronger members of the group, maybe.
You did see the injury sustained, and as I said, like, remember we were talking about how a cure light wounds would not be good enough?
Right. Yeah. It may be that Umberly does not give her access to magics powerful enough.
She may also just be simply not as powerful as you. Right? That's certainly a possibility.
Oh, yeah. She could easily.
Oh, my God. I didn't even... When the main priest cast his little light balls, you actually said you're surprised that he didn't open with a more powerful spell. These fuckers are lower level than we are.
Well, not necessarily. You were hit with, you've seen Grim make use of a spell similar to what he used, and it created a hell of a lot less those motes than what he was able to unleash on you.
Right. No, I'm not trying to be flippant about that at all. Like,
but I mean, it's something that it's worth
definitely
considering.
A big threat.
It is curious that he didn't use. You've seen at the very least Grim, who did not seem, at least the way this guy carried himself, did not seem as powerful as this guy. Grim could unleash, an inferno that encompasses that easily would have been able to capture both of you guys. Why didn't that guy use it?
I'm still missing some hair from that.
Yeah. So why didn't this guy use something like that?
But that's what I'm saying about the urgency. He could have been tapped out. You know, he might have used his spells up trying to defend himself from these flying creatures.
And you've seen Grim afterwards. I mean, Cola, you go through this as well. It's great to have all that power, but it requires quite a bit of time to replenish that stuff.
Yeah.
A quarter of an hour per spell.
No, these are very good points, Trin. Because even if they are very powerful magic users, and almost certainly they're no slouches, because to make it this far, even injured. And then Nicola pauses. You know, I forgot a detail that I hadn't told you this yet. And that is, we don't know what their purpose was, but we know what attacked them. They claimed they had been attacked by a group of Peritons. Now, I don't know how many Peritons attacked them. He didn't say. I have no reason to doubt that is true. At that point, he hadn't. I hadn't given him my actual name yet. So by that point,
saw the injuries, though.
I saw the injuries.
Were they injuries from such a creature?
They were consistent with the injuries we've sustained when we've been attacked by. I saw. The human had been in the worst shape. He looked like he had been partially gored, which certainly the horns of a Periton could do. all of them had slashes, which the claws of a Periton could do.
Okay.
They were nervous when we flew in at first. Because if they had been attacked recently by Peritons, I could see why, until they noticed that they were griffins and something else, they would have an immediate reaction. Mm-hmm. But Peritons are certainly a very dangerous creature. But we have faced them off at least a few times now, and we've survived in far better shape than this group has. You might be right. Maybe they used all of their abilities and powers to get them this far, and they don't have much left in the tank, whatever that statement means. I heard it once in a big city.
Cola, would you give us because you got the crit before from your wisdom check. Give us one more wisdom check.
Yeah, no way to set the expectations there, Kev. No pressure. Just give us a crit. No.
Not great. Okay.
I could add some luck.
You got some luck left.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you spend the rest of your luck, I mean, you got 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
You know what? One of those injured parties.
17.
You actually remember he had something on him as well that was bundled up with him. And it was a marking. Not a marking. Another thing. Now that you just didn't think of it at the time, but he had something clutched in his hand. And when you turn your mind to it, let me make sure I've got the correct thing here. There we go.
Of course, Trin, the other problem is that these guys are aware of us. Now, I doubt that they would think that we would come back to do anything to them, that we're only two, but they don't know if we don't have friends. I did mention I have companions, plural.
Yeah.
So that night, I would assume that when they set up camp, they are going to be like, there's going to be at least a few of them on guard. It may not be that simple.
It's still going to be less than if we encountered them during the day.
So what you recall is that there was a symbol. One of the injured ones, the one who was unconscious, one of the humans, clutched in his hand was a symbol, and all you really saw was a finger pointing up with a nimbus of flame around it. And if you think about that now, there's another human god whose symbol is that. That is Azuth, also known as the High One, the patron of wizards, the Lord of Spells, the Hand of Sorcery, the Lord of Spellcraft.
This is the most injured one?
No, the most injured one was the one who had the mark of Shiprethnor on it.
Oh, right, yeah.
But one of the other ones who seemed to be unconscious and like comatose, he had that clutched in him. I mean, you didn't get a chance to see the whole bit of his body, so you never thought of it. But, I mean, you've been in a situation where the party healer is the one who goes down first.
Right. Okay. So I'm in more and more time is definitely of the essence, because if their healer is down right now, but he's stable, so it won't be long. Like, it could be that if they're able to find a sufficient shelter and camp with this weather, it won't be difficult for them to find an appropriate place to camp. If he is able to recover enough, and then they're given enough time to prepare and do whatever they need to, he could presumably heal the others that are injured, including the most destitute one, which would also give the others time to get their abilities back. Mm-hmm. I think we have less than a day to deal with this.
Well, we can gather our stuff, fly out to where we think their journey will end tonight, and take take up a defensive hiding place, and then when we see them coming, make our plan to attack at night. Or I think we need to do it today.
One of the upsides too is that if with the weather today, tracking them will be relatively easy. If you have one of your ranger allies with you, it will be relatively easy to track them in this thing because you don't have blowing snow, you don't have...
No pressure, John. Feel better when you do.
Or Dave.
or Dave, you know.
Trin's not bad at tracking. He's got...
You track by scent, that's right. Yeah. So
that's fair. I think like as long as I think the key is like either we get them before they have a chance to rest, which is almost like the best case scenario because half of them are still out. Next best option is even if one or two of them has awoken and recovered a little bit from there, remember, because it goes both ways, if we need time to make our preparations in the mornings and the magic users need time to prep our spells and such, so too will these people. And so there's still a moment or a window after they've rested, there's a moment where we can still strike and they may not be at their full strength magically anyway. The martial members of that group will be a problem, but they're going to be a problem no matter what.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll set a plan into action to
It's still like by the time all this conversation has concluded, it's only about noon that day. So remember last time when you saw them, they were 20 minutes away. So getting back to that location is going to be easy enough on this day, and all of your allies should be fully rested for whoever may be able to join us next time.
Yep. So
we will see what happens next time. So let's see. For you guys, you are... that was great work against some potentially very dangerous adversaries. So you each get a hero point for that.
Nice.
And yes, exhausted your luck today. Good stuff. You also each gain, this is with individual XP bonus plus the difficulty of the adversaries. You guys will each gain 1100 XP. That's 1100. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 80, what is it, 5? 88, oh my goodness, of our Legacy of the Crystal Shard campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and we will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active. We have channels there dedicated to this campaign, every other campaign we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other great channels with a bunch of great people on it. There's a terrific community that is built up over there, and you are more than welcome to join us over there. In addition, there is a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really great organization active in over 130 countries that benefits over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. For all donations that go through that link, all money goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. In addition, all donations that go through that, or rather, for every $25 Canadian that you donate, you'll get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle, which will take place in December of 2022. If you want to see what prizes were given away on the last charity raffle, head on over to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, to the Charity Initiatives channel, and you'll see all the prizes that are there. And if you've made a donation since June 15 of 2022, you can spend the money that you donated to help affect our next charity session. That's in addition to be able to having a chance to win some great gaming stuff through our next charity raffle. The next charity session will be on Saturday, August 6th. I think it's 2 weeks from now. And it's going to be a very special Pathfinder 2nd Edition session of science fantasy space opera called Stellar Revolt. We have some, it's going to be, I think, a really fun session. We've got some really fun things. Darren's going to be going on a limb here and playing a very special character that is totally unlike anything he has played before. So it will be truly special, but we're going to save that for a surprise. We got a couple, in addition to a unique setting that is going to be very much, very Star Wars, very gosh, very Firefly, very Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, but really its own thing. We also have some fun stuff set up where part of the party will have a better idea of going into the story of what's going on, but one of the players is going to be playing an audience insert who does not, so we're going to have a interesting dynamic between some players knowing what's going on in the bigger picture and one player really being out of his depth on it. So it should be hopefully a really fun session of arc blasters, starships, ancient spells, ancient secrets, and evil galactic empires. And if you've donated since June 15, 2022, you can head on over and spend some of the money you donated to affect what the chances our heroes have or the chances our villains have. So it should be a fun session. Last thing I will say, speaking of fun sessions, is a huge thank you to Andrew and Darren for such a fun session today. Great stuff today, guys. This was really... I didn't get a chance to murder you by, betraying Arcane Brotherhood, but next time. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 88 of our Legacy of the Crystal Shard campaign. The march to 100 continues. And until we see you again, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes in the Icewind Dale keep uncovering, even more plots and more plots. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.